right, it is Friday at 2 o'clock. Welcome, Santa Clarita. It's the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Clarita's hometown station. I am not Doug, thank goodness.
And I am not John.
But I am John.
Oh, that's true.
We're actually going to get a special guest today. We have our Mr. Sports in, Kier Chapman.
So what do I go by as since I'm not only doing sports today? Am I Kier Chapman or am I Mr. Sports still?
Whatever you like. Whatever.
I'll let a dealer's choice. I'll let you have this
Okay,
one.
well, whatever I call you, just answer. Because otherwise, it'll be a lot of dead air. But no, Doug is out today. We're not sure exactly where. If you see him, please contact the studio. Let us know exactly where he is, what he's doing, because he was very cryptic. He was at some conference. Yeah, I've used that before.
Have you now?
Yeah. When I need to get out of something. So I got a conference. So I got a call.
I'm too young to use that one yet.
Yeah, you can use it. You can use it.
I have a coffee conference to go to.
All right, so Kier, people probably want to know who the heck is this Mr. Sports? So we figured, okay, let's start. Doug usually has a list of embarrassing questions like boxers and briefs, and I don't really care about any of that stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
But from California, from Santa Clarita?
From California, originally born in Sacramento, lived there till I was 4, then moved to SoCal and have lived there. Moved around sporadically, but lived in Southern California for my entire life since 4. Went to college at Cal Lutheran, where I studied film and TV production. But while I was there, I'm like, they started a student-run radio program. Okay, I'll take the class in the student-run radio program because I know sports and I really enjoy sports. So I'll do the sports department there. And then the sports director left and was like, oh, do you want to take the sports director position while I'm away studying abroad? I'm like, okay, so I'll do that. So for a year and a half, I was the sports director at a ICLU student-run radio station while also co-hosting other shows, producing stuff. And then from there, after I graduated, I've just been living at home, working, trying to make it as an actor and as an entertainer of sorts.
Oh, there you go. So you're a true millennial. We'll talk about that one.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So favorite sports team growing up? Were you North Cal or SoCal?
No, I have to, for professional, my sports fan stuff comes from my parents, like my mom, and she's from the East Coast, so I've been a big fan of New England sports, like Patriots, Celtics. I'm okay with it. We win championships, so I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I know. Well, you cheat.
But for college, I've always been a UCLA fan. I lived there for a while in my life, so UCLA has always been a big part of my life.
All right. Favorite sport? Is it basketball?
It's basketball because I play it and I watch it. Football is really close, but basketball I understand better, so I like it more.
All right. Pro, not college, or both?
Pro basketball, college football.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pro basketball, college. Okay. All right. Where do you stand on soccer?
Soccer's all right. I'll turn it on every once in a while, but I can't sit through an entire soccer game.
Doug's probably rolling over, probably agreeing with you wherever he is.
I know.
All right, what about hockey?
Hockey? Again, I like it. I'll turn it on if I want to watch it. For playoffs, I've been watching some of the playoff games. I know we watched the Washington game.
Of course I watched the Washington
So we'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. But again, I don't really follow it as regularly as I do football or basketball.
All right.
Yeah.
And if people want to contact you for bar mitzvahs or anything, you're available?
Yeah, why not? I like bar mitzvahs. They're fun.
All right, you've been listening to Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on AM-1220 with special guest Mr. Sports. See, that works.
Yeah, why not?
John and Mr. Sports, we can work that out. All right, we'll be back after these messages. You do need to know. There's one for you, Doug. Have you noticed he always tries to do that? He always tries to hit that downbeat, and it drives everybody crazy.
He plays into the song. I like it.
All right, it's a Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. Doug's not here. We got Mr. Sports, and we do have our special guest. You want to introduce yourself? I told you I was going to make you do this.
Kimberly Beers from the newsroom.
So are we doing beers with beers?
Beer, I like it.
Okay, beers with beers. This is the time when we pick the top couple cool stories in Santa Clarita, and we bring Kimberly in here and we embarrass her about them.
Yes.
But so what's going on in the SCV?
Well, one of the big ones was Wednesday night. There was a discovery of an explosive device, and it was more than 2-hour-long containment. It was in the residential area of Copper Hill and Haskell Canyon. It was a domestic violence dispute that escalated. And officials confirmed it was safely removed and detonated by the arson and explosives team. So
that's just scary to me.
It's very scary.
Okay, what I'm wondering is, was it like a spur of the moment, making of that explosive, or was that like a plan? Because if
it's stuff lying around the house, let's make a bomb and blow up my ex-wife.
Yeah, like
type thing.
I think you have to have a plan.
You gotta have a plan. There's got to be some premeditation.
Probably.
If you go to the bomb store and you order stuff online.
There's
questions there.
Yeah, I mean that's more of like thing for like the investigative force of what just happened there. But
that's pretty horrible though. I mean, because that could have. I mean, I was in a residential area at one point in time when a gas leak blew up a house. I mean, and the house was there one second and gone the next, and we were probably about half a mile away, and it broke our windows.
Was everyone okay?
I think 2 people were in the house. So it was just not pretty. But no, that's scary because it just destroyed the whole neighborhood.
Right.
So
now I'm paranoid.
Hopefully they'll figure that one out. What else you got?
Well, Saturday is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, and Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital is serving as Santa Clarita Valley's collection point for all unwanted medications. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and SCV residents are encouraged to drop off all unwanted medications that they don't take anymore, they don't need anymore. You know, you're not supposed to flush them, and you're not supposed to keep them around. You're supposed to,
Right.
You can't flush them, you can't throw them away.
And you don't want them around for anyone to get.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they still have potency even well after their expiration date.
Yeah.
It's just the latency period is just, and it's a good thing to do anyway, just to get rid of them because there's a lot of problems. I mean, you put them in the toilet or flush them or whatever, and it goes out to the water. That's not good. Or your dog gets in there, and it's just,
Yeah, those are all huge problems. But I mean, the prescription medication addiction and overdoses, is such an epidemic, and it's really the best way to keep it out of kids' hands.
That's the other thing too.
Is to not have it if you're not taking it, if you don't need it. If you do take it and need it, you should have it locked up. At all times.
That's huge, and keep track of the pills because they can be sold.
Definitely.
Yeah, I had daughters on Adderall, and it's like, wow, that she could have made so much money and could have paid for college. It's horrible, though. It's horrible to think about that.
Yeah.
And because then people get hooked, and it just, it's not good.
So, but that's in partnership with Action Family Counseling.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Definitely.
Is it just at the hospital as a drop-off?
That's Santa Clarita's drop-off, yeah.
And they'll properly dispose of it there.
What
are the times on that?
It was 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Oh, perfect. I'm sure there'll be signs all over the place.
Yeah, and there's more information on hometownstation.com, but all residents are definitely encouraged to drop off their medications.
What a great idea.
There was a fatal collision here in Newhall on Tuesday night. There was a second victim that was recently identified as Moses Hernandez. He was 33 of Santa Clarita. The other one was Noah David Murphy. He was 24. They were killed after the vehicle was traveling and hit a power pole on Sierra Highway.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I think there was also a
there's been a lot
motorcycle. It seems like there's been a
lot of stories about fatal collisions.
And they usually happen late at night.
Yeah.
I would venture to guess alcohol is probably involved in a lot of them. I don't know about this particular one. I don't think they've made that determination yet. But don't do it. There's so many services.
You always hear people always tell you, "Oh, drive safe," and you ever like, "Yeah, of course I'm gonna drive safe," and you never think about it. But with all these in the news, it's good to keep in mind. I should be driving safer. I should be focusing on being a better defensive driver because at any moment it could turn fatal, and it's not. It's
if you're impaired at all. There's services in Santa Clarita. There's Uber. There's Lyft. There's also the designated driver program. You can get information. I know they've got all kinds of information. I know they advertise in the Gazette. You can get a ride for you and your car home. Don't take the chance. I know it's about $10,000 for a DUI. But
or
death. I mean, my goodness, look at all this stuff. And we're not saying alcohol's involved. It may have just been bad driving, bad luck. Who knows? But don't take the chance.
Yeah, I think a bigger problem is speed. People just need to slow down. I mean, everywhere you drive in this valley, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, everybody's in a hurry, and then everybody's texting.
Yes.
I would love to be the police officer with a ticket book that I could fill up.
I know. I think that all the time.
To see people, it's like I could give you're texting. Put the phone down.
Yeah.
Oh.
We could be volunteer cops maybe and pull people over because I would love it.
Just, oh my gosh. You're driving. And then I would hey, you're driving really good. Have a free Slurpee or something.
Would you carry that around with you also? Would you carry around like a voucher, or would you carry around the Slurpees?
I would probably
with you?
A voucher.
A voucher?
It would be a
that's
voucher
lame.
or something. Because you get a police car, you're not going to have a Slurpee machine in a police car.
That's fair.
Yeah, I could do that. But yeah, that's the driving thing. The speed thing is really bad, especially Sierra Highway.
Yeah.
Some of those areas up there. But that's what people like to do.
Yeah.
It's
not worth
sad.
it.
It
is very sad. They were both young.
Yeah. So what else you got?
Well, it was a very sad day Monday when the drumming icon Remo Belli, the founder and CEO of the Santa Clarita-based drum manufacturer Remo Incorporated, died from complications from pneumonia. He was a pretty incredible person, had a lot of outreach, mastermind, a visionary in the music world is what he was called.
Yeah, I'd played drums for a while, and
Same.
I didn't realize that Remo was the same Remo that I saw every day going to the gym.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's the same thing.
And I used to work at a temp agency, or work with a temp agency called Select Staffing out in Valencia, and Remo always hired from them. So they always hired locally, too. It wasn't like they just took random people. They always made sure that people that worked around here were getting work from them.
It's one of those corporations that not a lot of people knew about, but was really big in the community.
Right.
Maybe behind the scenes a little bit, but massive in the music community.
Yeah.
I mean, every concert you go to, you can see Remo drum heads and
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of stories on him at hometownstation.com. We did some in-depth features on different outreaches that he's done in Santa Clarita. So.
Oh, the drum circles.
Yeah, if anyone's interested. Yeah, and he donated drums to SCVI Charter just recently. So if anyone's interested in learning more about him.
Hometownstation.com.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, you got one more?
Well, I know that in a few weeks you'll probably be having Perry Smith, the new news director.
I did hear about that. A little shake-up. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh,
or do you want to not say anything because you're on the air and people might be listening?
Well, if Perry's listening, it's a very good thing.
If Perry's listening, we're all in trouble. You know that. Hi, Perry. No, Perry's a great guy.
Yeah.
Well respected in the community, which I think coming back is kind of neat for him, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
it'll be
he
a
will
lot.
probably
Look
be
for
the
him.
staple here
He
on
needs
the
like
show.
a news van or something, a little mini. Can you imagine Perry Smith getting out of a mini with like KHTS and a light on it or something?
We can pitch it to
gotta pitch
Jerry.
that to
Maybe
them.
she's interested.
Yeah, I know that'd be kind of neat. Or have him drive the fire engine around.
Okay.
That'll be his go-to staff car.
Okay.
That's an idea. All right. Well, thank you. Beers with beers, everybody. What do you think? All right. I liked it.
Okay.
I think, Beers with Perry just sounds like something we do after work, not during the day. Kimberly Beer is news hound, news person, news
hound.
staff, news.
I like hound, yeah.
News hound?
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
news hound. Beers with beers. All right. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you.
All right, Kier.
All right.
There's something I've been thinking about.
And what is that?
Well, you are a true millennial.
I was born in that era.
In that era.
Yes.
Do you think you're typical when it comes to millennials?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've been realizing is that I don't think millennials understand the political process.
No, I mean, if I'm the typical millennial, I certainly don't understand it very well. Like, I understand politics to an extent, but I'm not huge into the whole political machine.
And it's not too hard to figure out why, but I have a theory on that. But when you say you're not into it, is it just because you don't have the time to care?
No, I mean, I have the time. It's just it doesn't really interest me. Like, I'm really focused on what I'm trying to do, and politics isn't what I personally am trying to do. So I guess, I don't know if you'd say the typical millennial is more self-interested, but I am self-interested. I'm working on what I want to accomplish in my life, and politics isn't part of that at the moment.
Okay. So do you think it affects you, though?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I haven't noticed like a direct, like my taxes always seem about the same. I always get some money back. So it's like in tax-wise, it doesn't seem like it's really affected me all that much. I've made more money because the minimum wage has increased, but there's also inflation. So in that sense, it has like monetary-wise, yeah, like inflation and minimum wage increase and all the things that go into that has affected me. But
what about student loans?
Student loans? They're as high as I imagined they were going to be, so I don't think any kind of political thing is going to help me with that. Like they're in the high, they're high. So, I don't know if that's a political thing or more of just how much I spent on college.
Well, there is that, but see, what got me is I was reading online the other day that, and this was a poll, 18 to 29-year-olds, okay, they seem to be against capitalism.
Now, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, this was like 42% support it and 51% don't. So it was a pretty significant number.
Right. I just don't get what you necessarily mean because...
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key, because the same poll said 33% support socialism, but 59% don't. And I'm going, okay, so you don't like capitalism, you don't like socialism either.
Just want to be, man.
You just want to be.
Just want to
that's
be.
great. But then it dawned on me, it's like, I don't know whether the polling data reflects the laissez-faire attitude that, well, it's not going to affect me. I only care about the things that affect me because you're the millennial, you're short-sighted, or you're self-absorbed, or whatever term you'd like to use.
I don't like any of those.
Which one do you want to use then?
Driven. How about that?
Driven.
See, I can rationalize my behavior.
Driven. Okay. So, but see, what got me is I don't think there was a clear understanding of what the terms mean. Okay. Because when I say capitalism, what do you guys think of? Your generation.
Okay. Well, I think when you say capitalism, like the fair competition, fair market competition, pull yourself up by your bootstrap kind of mentality. And where I agree that millennials don't really support fully capitalism is the fact that, for myself, I work really hard at what I want to do, but if someone needs my help and comes to me for help, for money or a reference or anything like that, I have no problem saying, okay, you don't have to pull yourself up by your bootstrap at this moment. I can help you out. I have money. Giving you like $5 is not a big deal to me.
Okay.
Giving you a reference, helping you find a job is not a big deal for me, because if the tables were turned, I would want that sort of help as well. So in the sense of pull yourself up, everyone has to do it on their own, I don't agree with that. I think it's okay to ask for help when you need it, and I think, that's about it. There's no much to really expand on that.
That's an interesting point, and that kind of gets me back to what I was going to talk about, is the term capitalism.
Right.
I mean, what you said is probably slightly different than what true capitalism is.
Right.
But it's not, it is commerce. It is small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
It is,
right.
Hey, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get that job, and I'm going to buy things and stimulate the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Low taxes, more money to spend, things like that.
Right.
That's capitalism. More business, less government. The problem is capitalism, from a millennial standpoint, has probably gotten a bad rap because it's big banks. It's Wall Street. It's income inequality and greed and all that stuff.
But I mean, you have to admit that the system does help those with more money, because it is easier to get the advantages you need with more money, because you can pay for the advantages that you need.
To a certain extent.
Like bigger accounting firms, like a small business has to do all their own books, whereas like McDonald's or something like that, they have like accounting teams that can find loopholes to make taxes easier, cheaper.
And that opens on a whole other can of worms, because the tax thing is just kind of... It's silly.
I mean, but here's the thing: I don't blame him for that. If I could find all these advantages I could take for taxes, I would do it as well. But
well, from a millennial standpoint, let me ask you this: what about income inequality?
Income inequality, the 1%, 99%.
Yeah, the 1%, 99% thing.
I don't really hate that fact. Like, I assume a lot of the people that have the 1% have worked really hard to get that,
or work really hard to keep the 1%.
Right, exactly. Like, I believe it's all, you're working hard to get what you've earned. But in the same sense, I could see how it's unfair, where they might have to pay less taxes because they can find the loopholes better and all that kind of stuff. I could see where that's unfair, where I'm not personally, but where they feel they're paying more taxes than someone who has more money is.
Right.
Like, I could see where that is unfair, and where it would feel unfair, and where people would want to be like, hey, pay your fair share. You tell us to pay our fair share, why practice what you preach.
Yeah, it's funny, because it seems like a millennial's aspect, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be very tied into what's fair and fairness.
Right.
Okay.
Fairness is nice.
Because, the other thing that confounds me a little bit is young people voting for Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, I don't have a problem with people voting. Obviously, I think it's a great thing. I think everybody should participate. It is a democracy.
Yeah.
Vote. It's not a big deal. I think there are times when I go, boy, there should be a stupid poll tax. If you can't pass a basic civics quiz, you should not be allowed to vote, let alone participate in society. But I'll put that one aside for a second.
Okay. Nice.
Because what people look at Bernie and they go, he's a socialist. Mm-hmm. We like that. And I think there's several factors involved in that. I think it's we like free stuff. Who doesn't?
Yeah, of course.
How can you? Somebody once said, "How can you vote against Santa Claus?" Okay, I'd vote for Santa Claus. I want free stuff. I want free college, maybe retroactively.
Right.
But it's I think the millennial definition of socialism is a more subsidized version and a more friendlier version and a more fair version of the government we have now.
Right.
Well, from an older person's standpoint, that actually brings up a little bit of fear.
Okay.
Because that's how the USSR started. That's what destroyed Venezuela and is still destroying Venezuela. And everybody goes, oh, but Switzerland and Norway, well, they're not the safe havens of socialism that everybody thinks they are. Right. There's a lot of problems there.
Right.
So I think the problem is, from once again, an old person looking at a millennial's viewpoint,
right.
It's our fault. It's the older generation's fault. It's the older generation's fault. I will take the blame for it.
Thank
you. I have a theory. This is my theory. You guys are, like I said before, obsessed with fairness.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, you want everything to be fair.
Right.
And it's our fault because we started the Participation Trophy Society.
Is that an actual society?
I made that up.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay?
That's cute.
You can be a member of it, okay? Because everybody gets something. There's no winners. There's no losers. It's an equal playing field, and nobody has to excel. We're all going to get trophies. And I think that's... It's bigger. It's a bigger problem than just, AYSO or youth soccer or whatever. It's a bigger thing than that. I think what happened is, I know when my great-grandparents came to this country, they worked really hard, so my grandparents had it better than them. And my grandparents worked really hard, so my parents. And my parents worked really hard, so I had it better than they did. And I worked really hard, so my kids had it better than me.
Okay.
But I think we lost somewhere in that the thought process of what it means to work hard and better the next generation.
Right. I agree with that in a sense, but also the fact that it probably just comes from upbringing as well. Like, I've been taught to work very hard for the things that I want, and I try to practice that. There's some days I take vacations, don't work as hard as I could.
Right.
And I feel I can justify doing that, which maybe before the millennial generation wasn't like, oh, you can't take days off, you can't feel good about, if you're not working, you're not doing a good job. But I can rationalize the days that I take off, but then I also know that I work hard. But I do like fairness, not in the sense that everyone should get everything, but everyone should have similar advantages when it comes to trying to get what they want.
Give me an example where someone would have where that doesn't occur.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I have to think about that, yeah.
That's the tough
one
for me, because I'm sitting there going, giving my kids free stuff. My kids were probably raised similar to the way that you were raised. Giving them free stuff doesn't make their life better.
Right.
Teaching them how to work for free stuff, or work for stuff that's not free, or work for stuff, not free stuff.
Okay.
But work for stuff. Teaching them that work ethic, I think that makes them better. Teaching them to work harder, smarter.
I agree with that.
That being a better member of society is how you improve the next generation. And I think my generation kind of forgot that. My parents' generation didn't really forget that, because I thought, they were probably maybe parents and grandparents were members of the greatest generation ever. And I think they did a great job of bringing us up in that vein.
So is this kind of like a welfare debate, like a no free handout kind of thing? Is that where you're heading with this?
No, I'm not. No, I won't go quite there.
Okay.
I do believe in a safety net.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
cool.
But I think the definition of safety net is, well, maybe I am, because it is a little skewed nowadays.
I can see that. It is possible to take advantage of the system. I don't think it's as easy as is sometimes painted to take advantage of the system. I think you really need to prove that you have debilitating drug addiction. You actually have to have the proof that is something that you suffer from. But I could see where it could be taken advantage of. But at the same time, it's a good safety net, like you said. It's a good, if you really are on hard times and you need that to get your life back on track, I don't see why that's a bad thing.
Okay, what about drug testing for people on welfare? How do you feel about that?
That's fine. I mean, you have to try to show that you're trying to make an improvement in your life. And if drugs are what got you to where you needed welfare, you got to prove that you're making an improvement.
Okay, you may not be typical, because that makes rational sense.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, because
I don't know.
Because you've seen on Facebook the picture of Jesus, passing out the loaves of bread, and it's like, oh, you can have bread, but you got to be drug tested first.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a little bit of a stretch. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure it was, on Facebook is a millennial thing. So I was
it's one of
I
those
was a little concerned where it was like, the newfangled, get off my lawn. No, I'm not one of those old people to get off my lawn.
I know you're not.
But it was funny because when I brought this up to my youngest daughter, 16-year-old, she goes, yeah, you're right. It is your generation's fault. I see what you're saying. And I'm like, and that was about it. It stopped there.
So you want to take the blame, but you also want what an apology?
No. I didn't need I didn't need an apology. I needed a hey, look, if that's the way that we brought you up, and that's obviously not working.
Oh, I see.
Change your viewpoint. Come up with an idea. Hey, you're right, Dad, but I think we could do.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not,
I feel you.
Because the other problem I thought was that. And the Bernie thing is cool now, right?
No, Bernie's awesome.
Feel the burn. Everybody likes the burn.
Do you feel the burn?
Everyone wants free stuff.
Yeah.
And the rich people should have to pay for my free stuff.
That'd be nice. These all sound like nice things.
Yeah, but is it really free if somebody else is paying for it?
Yeah, that's the common no free lunch economic question. Yeah. I feel like if it feels free to me, then technically it is free.
Okay, but remember when I said you weren't the typical millennial? Forget it.
I am atypical in some areas and not so atypical in others.
Yeah.
I know it's not actually free, but it feels free at the time, and it at the present moment is where I'm trying to stay. I'm not trying to think about all the other factors.
I think that's what that poll pointed out. I think it was a little bit more of a millennials are frustrated with the status quo, which I think is pretty clear. They're not sure how to change it, but they're focused on the flaws in the market.
Okay.
And they're there, but I've got to do my share.
Right.
For something. And what it does is it hopefully will spurn things like compassionate capitalism, these companies that give back.
Yeah, which I think we're seeing a lot more of.
We are.
Which is nice.
Maybe that'll be the turn.
Yeah.
But, all right, enough of this garbage. Let's talk sports when we get back. What do you think?
All right, sounds
all
good
right,
to me.
Listen to Gazette Radio with Doug and John, our special guest, Mr. Sports, on the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. And Mr. Sports. Wow, we just did that as a loop, didn't I? All right, you're on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Cruz hometown station. We'll be back after this.